Number 2, drink water. Don't drink and drive.
Game over.
Take it light. Stay.
Now you're more fluent.
He got 3.
Up, Bears.
So this is really good right here. Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. Welcome back to Down on the Farm with the Boys. We are the Boys. This is your Texas Rangers minor league report, your one-stop shop for all things Rangers minor league, where we cover all things Rangers minor league. This is your boy Kevin, aka YBK Kevin Frazier. Really excited about the show tonight. We got so much to talk about. I'm just gonna cut the intro. Kevin Lee Frazier on social media. That's FRAZIER. TX Rangers WTB on social media. TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com. All one word. Also,
all one word. I was messing with my light because I just realized right there. I was like, "Why is my face so dark?"
I saw it.
Because of the light. Yes, also, all one word. One word at Chilltown Hoops as well. Sports Fluent, the Sports Fluent Network. So jump on there on YouTube at Chilltown Hoops and check us out there on both Down on the Farm with the Boys and Texas Rangers with the Boys. So if you're watching this, we know you're a fan. So come on over, check us out daily on Chilltown Hoops, and get a gander at Kevin's hair because it's beautiful. It is beautiful. It's like parted up one side and curly. It's something else. You got to see it to believe it. Really, honestly, man. I roll with a nice beard, but Kevin's got the better hair for sure. There's no doubt.
Well, I'll tell you. You know what else is crazy? Now, totally not about hair, but you know what else is all one word? Your social media handles.
That's right. Manimal Bull is all one word, and that's where you can find it X or Twitter or whatever they're calling it these days. You can find me at Manimal Bull, Manimal 300, which is all one word on Instagram, and Bull Pro, also all one word on. Okay, we've done too much. We went too far, but that's not where you can find me on TikTok and Facebook. So Facebook, it might even not be all one word. I think it's all 2 words.
It's all 2 words.
All 2 words, yeah.
So,
but hey, we're doing good over here. We got a lot of baseball to talk about. We decided today to go through for the month of June instead of just since we missed the last 2 weeks due to just travel issues and bug issues last Sunday night for sure. That was probably a poor decision on my part to say let's set up a single light on the Delaware River.
Yeah.
During the night. We tried to do it during the day, and then it just the night got to us, and then the bugs got to me.
Well, let's get into it, man. I'm about as excited as I can be to catch up with these minor leaguers.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some guys that got promoted.
A lot of promotions.
Let's
start there. Who went where? What are the big?
Rosario and Cole Drake moved from low A down east to high A Hickory. Winston Santos and Skylar Hales moved from high A Hickory to Round Rock, and Alejandro Osuna as well, moving from high A Hickory to Round Rock. Yzel Cepeda is going to go to Arizona for a little bit, work on getting his game straightened out and see if they can find some power when it comes to hit the contact that he's making. So that's kind of what's going on with the Rangers. They've got some guys. We'll talk about some guys from the Complex League that have been moving to down east as we go through this show. And we got movement going. It's that time of the year. We're getting to a point where we've seen enough of Winston Santos dominating A-plus ball. Let's go see what he does at Double A. And it was a rough outing Friday night. It wasn't exactly what you were hoping for. But at the end of the day, we're going to see some of that. We're going to see some more of that. We're going to see more movement coming in the next couple of weeks. And some of these guys from the Dominican Summer League, Wilfred Castillo, Paulino Santana may come to the States. They've been playing well enough in the Dominican. So it's exciting times for the Rangers. Definitely their farm system. I know we've hit a little bit of a slide at the big league level, but Round Rock, Frisco, Down East Hickory, the complex and the Dominican Summer Leagues are all playing well. The other night, the complex was down 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th and walked it off with the bases clearing Pablo Guerrero home run. So we'll talk about some of that stuff. I mean, I think they come out of the womb hitting as Guerrero's, right? Like that's just how it happens.
Yeah.
So we got a lot to talk about. We got a bunch of guys that it's fun doing this list because these are 10 guys, but there could have been 40 more guys that made this list for the month of June. Guys like Becker Barroso who moved and had a good month. There's just a bunch of guys. I mean, David Dabavillo had such a good outing the other night. So, yeah, there's just a bunch of guys right now that are having really good outings for the Rangers, and you're starting to see A and A+ really seeing those results when it comes in and night out with those zeros every night.
Well, let's jump in at number 10. I think number 10 is probably going to be the only time we really talk about Round Rock. And I think it's relative mainly because I think we're going to see a couple of these guys from AA get a shot up at Round Rock as well. I don't know that for a fact, but with some of the moves going to from high A to AA, you almost naturally think maybe a couple of these guys might be moving. But Sandro Fabian, we had some really interesting talk about him really off air with Derek Hill coming up and doing so well with the big league club thus far. Hey, looks like the Rangers are like, hey, we're done messing around. If you've got a hot hand, you got a hot bat, we're
willing to take a look for sure. And the one thing that hurts Fabian the most is the fact that he's not on the 40-man roster. But at this point, they're getting to a point where that isn't really a big key factor in doing everything they're doing. Not sure that it's going to happen for him at the big league level this year. Of course, we're not proclaiming that the Rangers should be like, oh, let's make some moves and whatever get Sandro Fabian up here. But at the same time, he's been very steady at AAA this year. His power has started to come in some, and he's been a real guiding force for the Round Rock Express offense throughout maybe the whole season. Yeah, and that's been kind of what you're looking at as far as what the Rangers are looking for. And I'm not saying that Sandro Fabian is a major leaguer. I don't know that for sure.
So speaking of the Rangers, we're watching this thing live right now.
Yeah.
This is the 5th hit batter today.
Yeah, after what happened last night, you would think that
the Rangers are throwing at the Orioles too.
Well,
so I think this is a thing, and we'll probably talk about this on the big show, but that Josh Young thing looked like a freak accident, blah, 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 blah. Now we've had like 4 Rangers get hit in the exact
same the cycle. There's the cycle for Wyatt Langford.
Oh, what? Oh, I'm behind. Dadgummit.
There's the cycle for Wyatt Langford. So former Ranger farmhand and obviously number 1 prospect coming into the season, Wyatt Langford has just done something really special for the Texas Rangers. You know who the last one was? Oda B. McDowell was the last Ranger to hit for the cycle in 1985. So good stuff from Wyatt Langford right there. You know what? I mean, if I were the Rangers bench, I think I would have all sat down,
Yeah.
And you know what another great thing about that is? It's a crooked letter or a crooked number 2. That's a 3-run home run right there. That really puts the game away. I mean, not that it wasn't already, but you don't have any worries about an 11-2 ball game. And good for Wyatt Langford. There's so many good things to come for that kid, and you're starting to see some of those glances of special that we've talked about what we expected, and he got every bit of that ball. That was launched off into the left field stands there. So good for Wyatt Langford. He had his 68 at bats or whatever this past year while we got to talk about him. So
he's on my other fantasy team too. So I just got the notification.
He just got into that ball. That ball
he did. Well, okay. So let me ask you the other big player while we're talking AAA right now, and I can't wait to get on our regular show and talk about Wyatt Langford more because we would love to. Justin Foscue is somebody else I'm keeping an eye on pretty much.
Absolutely. I think the reason that the Ornelas move was just because of the fact that it wasn't an injury. Because both Duran and Foscue were probably both ahead of Ornelas as far as getting the call or being the better player or whatever. But right now, both of those guys had been optioned within the last 20 days. So there was no way to get Duran or Foscue back up because it wasn't replacing an injury. It was only replacing depth. So they weren't able to go to Durant. If Corey Seager went on the IL, you could go get either one of those guys, and you still can, and you can option Ornelas back and bring up a relief pitcher, probably Spores on Tuesday if we see him go in today in the Round Rock game. So I'm pretty much expecting Josh Spores to be back with the Rangers at some point in this San Diego series.
I'm looking for his AAA numbers for whatever reason. I'm not seeing him on here. I would say Jack Leiter not having
no good decent outing last night. 5 innings, 3 hits, a couple of runs. Kept the team in it, gave them a chance to win, and that's what they ended up doing. So nice play there by Gunnar Henderson, man. That kid's incredible.
Yeah. And did you notice that the Rangers were throwing right at his bat? Up
and in.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the real thing about that bothers you is the fact that it happens so much on 3-2 in Ranger at bats, because with Young, Smith, and Seager, all 3 of those pitches were 3-2 that were up in the hands. But both Owen White and Jack Leiter had good outings this week for the Round Rock Express. I'm pretty sure that Owen White pitched into the 7th. So, good outing from him, only a run on a couple of hits. So maybe you're starting to see an uptick from Owen White, and he might be figuring it out there at the AAA level.
Yeah.
It's been about a year now that he's been at AAA, right? I mean, he went up about this time last year. He was in the Futures game, and when he came up to the Rangers, and then when he was optioned back to Round Rock instead of Texas,
right?
If I remember correctly, and then he never went back. So he's been at Round Rock since about the All-Star break last year.
Okay. Well, I think we've done our due diligence with Round Rock. Anybody else on
weird that we would be having a cycle right in the middle of AAA Round Rock. Matt Duffy came back this week. He was taking Davis Wenzel's spot at the third base, and Zeke Duran's been playing shortstop since he's been down with Round Rock. Hopefully they can get Zeke Duran back and healthy, because I read last year that this time last year, Zeke Duran was hitting 320, 356 and slugging over 550 and was a 900 ops guy. And, that's kind of what we're seeing with Josh Smith this year. So, hopefully they can get both of those guys right.
Like
extreme opposites last year. And this year, you're seeing it from Josh Smith, and you'd love to see Josh Smith continue to do that, and then Ezekiel Duran back to doing that. So when you rely on those guys, I think the idea that Smith probably isn't going to have the regression just on the fact that he's kind of a guy that he reads the strike zone better than Duran. He's not chasing as much. He hits the ball hard on most of his contacts. So, as much as I rib Josh Smith or whatever the idea is that I hate the guy, I realize what he is as far as a ball player, and I don't hate that guy at all. I just, wanted to continue to see Duran get at bats as well. And, that ran its course,
Well, and I think when you talk about Josh Smith, we talked about this last year, that you could tell he was a guy that was up there that wasn't just up there hacking. He's up there trying to figure out how to hit MLB pitching. He's a cerebral guy. And again, I think, I'm not saying he's got it figured out. But like you said, I think for him, it was more about kind of finding his identity at the big league level, because he does have a very professional approach, as where, Duran is more of a free swinger, but that doesn't mean he can't be a pro. Like, free swingers.
Yeah, and we saw a lot this year that Duran was able to hold on a lot more sliders and not chase nearly as much as we saw last year when he was pressing. So there's an idea that he should be able to get this turned around.
Yeah, and we also know a little bit of that was just kind of sending a bit of a message as well.
Tad bit, yeah.
Well, let's jump up. Let's jump up to number 9 here. Now this is about as exciting of a name, and again, it's kind of become the kind of the premier level in some ways with within this organization. Again, if you see me and Bull looking to the side, my game's over here.
Yeah,
He's right up there. We're watching the game. But no, Skylar Hales, man, in Frisco as a whole has just really started to become kind of an exciting place, because we know that there's some Rule 5 guys hanging out there that we might have a chance to either see them play this year, or might see them be
on the 40.
Or might be guys that get moved at the trade deadline. So a lot of interesting names there. But let's talk about Skylar Hales. Him and Rosario, to me, are kind of two guys that draft class last year, man. I mean,
Skylar Hales, he had a little bit of time on the IL early in the year with Hickory, but 4th round draft pick from last year's draft, sits 98. Fastball normally 96, 101, 102 tops. So he does top out up over 100. You got to realize he's a 23-year-old kid that's been playing competitive college baseball for 4 years, these past 4 years. So his fastball is probably sitting. He may run a tick higher as he gets a little bit older in the minor league levels, but you're probably going to see him sitting probably 97 to 100 most nights. And he's got off speed. He's got wicked slider that I mean, when it's on, it plays real big, and that plays off of that fastball, and he can turn it around and play the fastball off of the slider. So he's an interesting piece. He had a good first week with Frisco this week, and I look forward to seeing both him and I can't think of it, Tyler Owens, who last year in the offseason, we talked about him. This was a guy that they signed to a minor league deal, and we just kind of based on it being January or whenever it happened, talked about it a little bit. But he's throwing upper 90s, 100 as well. So they've got a couple of guys in that Frisco bullpen to go with Emiliano Teota in the rotation that are throwing up over 100 every appearance.
Yeah.
And Teota, real quick, today he went 6 innings, gave up 2 hits, no earned runs, just a single unearned, and had like 9 strikeouts. So just another incredible performance by Emiliano Teota today. So Frisco, they're going to be a playoff team. So late in that season, you're going to see some of these fun guys that are at Double-A or at High A right now. Maybe Morabel, maybe Gutierrez, maybe Sebastian Walcott, that are going to be playing in Frisco in the playoffs in the Texas League. So that's some exciting news, and that's depending on where things go, but how exciting would it be to have an 18-year-old Sebastian Walcott at Frisco playing every day at shortstop and making this thing a better team?
Yeah, man. And I think we're gonna talk about him here
a little later in the show, because he had a really good month.
Well, and let's kind of keep hanging. I'm trying, for whatever reason, my internet is just dying here.
Well,
but
number 8 on the list there, Alejandro Osuna, did enough at High A Hickory to get himself a promotion this past week. Came right up to Hickory, kept hitting. So good on him. He's just a good ball player. He's going to continue to progress. I think he's 20 years old, 19 years old. So just continue to watch him, and he's going to hit 300 probably this season the way that everything's been going for him.
Yeah, sorry, I'm
But this week,
computer is melted down. So
tremendous!
Had all my stuff up here, and then I refreshed the stats because it looked like they were old.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I mean, Frisco is a real force, and they're going to be a juggernaut as long as they keep this together. And if they add some hitters like Cepeda, getting going down and getting Osuna up, and he continues to hit at Frisco the way he did at High A Hickory, they're going to be a better team. That was Zavala, Strom, and Osuna in the outfield on a most night basis. They've gotten strong pitching performances from Garcia lately. Garcia is a guy that we've been a fan of for a lot of years, and he's coming up on where he'll be Rule 5 eligible. I think this year, maybe next year. I can't remember, but I think this year that he'll be Rule 5. So, you're starting to make decisions on him, and Dana Acker has been good, and Josh Steffen, and all the guys that have been up at Frisco throughout the year and that have made starts have been really good. And, everybody in the pitching staff really has been okay to really good. And the Frisco, they're a force there in the Texas League, and they're winning 5 out of 6 almost every week. And, but they're 22 games over 500 right now, which is, a tremendous spot to be, especially with the All-Star break coming up right now. So you're going to have it's starting all back over here in a couple of weeks, and Frisco will be in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, and one of the things that that I thought, what I find really interesting is like, last year all we talked about was Frisco. They're all these players, blah 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 blah. You got Leiter, you got White, you got all these guys, all these players. They had, Zavala, Dustin Harris. I mean, they had all these guys, interestingly enough, they struggled all year.
And that came and passed, and they played their best baseball at the end of the season with Cody Freeman and some of those guys. So, and Evan Carter played his best baseball at Texas last year. So,
right. Well, we got to talk about Cody Freeman. He has been
on fire.
I mean,
he's a consistent dude.
What point does he get the attention of the? He kind of reminds me a little bit in many ways of like the way he's played this year. It kind of reminds me of Thomas Ajayci last year, where we liked him. He was a guy that we talked a lot about, hey, he's got a lot of potential, but like at the minor league level, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't once you get to AA, AAA, if you're not doing the do, like it ain't a thing. Talent has to perform. Oh yeah, do the do,
bro.
So with Freeman, I mean, right now, he seems like a guy that is poised to maybe take that next step faster maybe than we thought. Because remember, he's super – but for our listeners, if you're just super versatile guy, catches, plays infield.
Third, second. Yeah, been playing third all year this year, basically out of necessity for the organization. I mean, they don't have a ton of depth at that spot, and they didn't want to continue to play – they didn't want to get Max Acosta a ton of time over there at third. They wanted to keep him on short. If Sebastian Walcott moves up, he could play some third, and you could see Cody Freeman playing some second. But I have a feeling that probably towards the end of the year at Frisco, you're going to have Abby at first. Mm-hmm. You're going to have Cam Collier at second, or Cam Collie at second. You're going to probably have Acosta at third, and then you'll probably have Sebastian Walcott at third, and you may see Cody Freeman behind the plate if he's not DHing to keep him in the lineup, because he's got that versatility, and he's playing third base right now basically out of the necessity of that's what positional depth that they need him for right now.
Well, and what kind of value does that say? Because in this day and age in the MLB, like versatility has become so valuable.
It is so important because there's so many guys that can play, a plethora of positions, and now you've got it just becomes that much more competitive.
No one develops first baseman anymore. No one develops those corner outfielders anymore. They develop center fielders, shortstops, and catchers. And then if you can't make those positions, you go to second, you go to third, you go to the out, you go to left, you go to right field, you go to so that I also think is why these guys coming up are so versatile now, why that versatility is there, because coaches,
when they failed at center field or shortstop, they were moved to all three of them. If you're a shortstop and it's not working out for you there, and you got a big arm, the first place they're going to try you is at short or third, and then they're going to try you at second, and if that doesn't work out, they're going to try you in the outfield. So you've got to be able to take that on. I mean, there's also talks that in a year or two that you could possibly think about Walcott playing some right field,
right?
Because look, in the off season. In the off season, when I brought it up, trading Adolis Garcia was blasphemy, right?
No, you couldn't talk about it.
But right now it's not blasphemy anymore.
He's kind of back to that 230, 180 strikeout, 30 homer, maybe 100 run batted in player, which is great. Like no one has a problem. We'll take it. But what we saw from him last year, we're talking 40 homers. 120.
Yeah. It's going to be one of those years on his baseball card where you look at it and you're like, oh man, he got fired that year.
Yeah, and he caught it in the playoffs too.
I guess it's baseball reference now. Nobody looks at the back of baseball cards, right?
Well, speaking of baseball, I can't get anything to pull up for something.
No, we'll just go through the list and have a good time with the list and talk.
I love giving our people the numbers. Yeah. For some reason, I can't get anything to pull up right now. All I can get is Round Rock, and I can barely that. But
we got a little bit of it going here.
We'll be back at. I think we don't have another.
No, that'll be the end of. That's the end of Frisco this time. But we talked quite a bit. I mean, between starting pitching, they've gotten some good outings between Hales and Tyler Owens and those guys in the bullpen. They're starting to see that velocity creep up and go.
Well, let's talk about our next guy on the list, and let's hop into the Arizona Complex League, because I have a feeling once we get to High A, it's going to be hard to get away from it. So let's get to Angel Anasco at the Arizona Complex League. What did he do so well lately that got your attention?
Well, he's been really good. He threw 8 innings in June, coming straight from the Dominican Summer League into the complex, and 15 strikeouts in his 18 innings. He's just been good for. I had him up and then I pulled him up. But he's at a 3.12 ERA, 13 strikeouts in his 8 2/3 inning. He's kind of, he had a little bit of a stretch there where he wasn't good to start the season, and then since June has taken off, he's been pretty good. Well,
also while we're hanging out talking Arizona Complex League, you brought up Pablo Guerrero. Man, he's been as advertised so far.
Absolutely.
What's your I guess forecast for his, and again, I know you hate when I put you on the spot for these things, but I'm only guessing. I feel like at least you have an educated guess because you've seen enough of this. You've seen a lot more of this stuff at the minor league level. Like, just, kind of give us, because as a fan, that's what I'm always thinking is his MLB timetable. But like, what is your forecast for him if he keeps hitting? He's hitting for power. He's
got an 820 ops. So he's up over, and for, I think he's 18.
Mm-hmm.
If he's 18, 17, yeah. I mean, that's a lot better than I thought he was going to do at the complex this year. I think he definitely is going to be a legit top 30 prospect within the Rangers organization by the end of the year. And you're kind of starting to see the power come in a little bit, and he's driving runs in, and it's just very similar to the path, right? A lot of those guys that are brothers are not going to get the money that their older brother, who had a ton of potential, like Vlad Jr., but He's made from that same makeup. It may take him a little bit longer to develop, but at the same time, even if it does, at 22 or 23, you're talking about having Pablo or Pablo Guerrero.
Pablo, strong name.
Yeah. Which and again, I mean, the 5 home runs, but the 26 RBIs and 130 at bats is a really good number. They're getting pretty good production all the way around. I thought
Taylor Morel's hitting pretty good. He's only 18. Esteban Mejia, Mejia's hitting pretty good. He's 19 years old. Jose, I'm just calling out what I'm looking at. Obviously, I got my
I mean,
let's not forget the guy that's been just killing it. Your Remy Cabrera. Is there a chance that we see some of these guys at Down East this year? Or you think
there's a possibility, yeah. Like I would definitely think so. I think that maybe Ismael Agreda may be ready to get an opportunity at Down East. He's been pitching pretty well for the thing this year. We talked about Angel and Azako, but I doubt that he gets. I doubt that he gets movement. Thomas Ireland will probably be at Down East before long. You're going to get an opportunity to see him there. Let's see.
What about Tiger?
Maybe. I think he's already up there, right? Like he pitch it. I'm pretty sure Saturday night he pitched for Down East. He didn't have a great outing or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure that Isaac Tiger is already up with.
He's one of our favorites. Obviously.
Yeah, no, he's one of those guys that's going to be fun because he's another guy just like Rosario and Skylar Hales that throws hard. He's interesting, I mean, it's just they've got some guys that are just interesting pieces right now, and we're going to kind of find out about them as we go. And the Arizona Complex League isn't exactly the place to find out who's got great ERAs because most guys are going to be a little extended just because or inflated just because of the fact that the hitting is so far ahead of the pitching right now, and most of these guys are just developing pitches. I mean, they're 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. So these are the guys that are developing right now as we speak. But they've got guys. I mean, there's dudes that are interesting. There's guys that I'm looking forward to seeing back. I would like to see Josu Rodriguez because I was interested by his stuff earlier in the year. I don't know exactly the extent of his injury, but it's nice to see that Caden Scarborough has been added to the roster, so hopefully he'll start making some starts here. That was another Rangers draft pick from last year. Navarez is a pretty decent catcher. They've got guys. It's an interesting team there out in Arizona, and they're fun to watch because they score runs and they never give up, and they're always fighting counts and fighting off pitches and getting opportunity.
Yeah, and you gotta with the pitching, you're looking more at the kind of the ratios, the walks and the strikeout ratios and the hits ratios.
And our buddy, Jacques Vargas, remember him from the name game? Couldn't help but put him in there, Jacques Sunt. He's having a pretty good little season out of the catchers, out of the limited at bats he's getting catching wise. So they got some interesting guys, man. I'm really interested. Luis Marquez keeps hitting. Okay, I'll stop talking about the Arizona Complex.
Well, we do have the Dominican Summer League, red and blue. We got a couple guys coming up from there. So let's start at the Dominican Summer League blue. So Oscar Romero comes in at number 6. What did Oscar do this month that caught your eye? What got him on the list?
Well, let me pull up the.
I'm sorry. I'm trying. I had to restart my computer twice. Maybe Baseball Reference is having a meltdown. I like their numbers better than the MLB app. That, if anything, destroy your computer.
Oh, I know. Well, so far, 4 games in June this year for Oscar Romero. He is 0-0 with a 1.96 ERA. 18 innings of work. He's got a 1.09 WHIP. Not a ton of strikeouts, but about 1 an inning. And he's just kind of been steady, and when they've given him opportunity to pitch. And so far this year, in June he's got the 1.96 ERA, and and he's been starting ball games and giving them length at 5 innings a spot. So. That's what you're looking for, is guys that are at the Dominican Summer League that can give you 5 innings and keep you in a ball game, and at the same time look like a ball player. Look like you're going to be productive if we send you to Arizona. And so far, that's what Oscar Romero has been for the blue team in the Dominican Summer League, and in a league where pitching does not reign supreme. He's thrown 5 innings his last couple of outings and given up just a couple of hits and no runs in both of those outings, and he's been good there. He gave up a couple in his second outing, but other than that, he's been pretty good. And you got to just kind of tip your cap to that, and especially down there at the Dominican Summer League when these hitters are so far ahead of the pitchers.
Yeah, and yeah, you notice that big time, like a lot of that the pitching and the hitting there's a bit of a discrepancy. Now, maybe for some of our first time, listeners, like what do you attribute that to? Because it seems to be the same thing at the Arizona Complex League as well, that the hitting is a little bit ahead of the pitching. Is it because maybe the pitching they're not?
Well, I think a lot of it is in with the Dominican kids. They've been using wood bats and squaring up pitches since they were 4 years old. Mm-hmm. And a lot of American kids get away with a whole lot using aluminum bats, and they don't stay on the sweet spot like the kids from the Dominican do. Okay. And I think that because you see it a lot when you look at what do you call that? Like a college baseball league in the summer, like the Cape Cod League that I went to a couple of weeks ago, where these kids have been using aluminum bats in college baseball and getting away with so much. Mm-hmm. And then when they switch to the wood bat, the power doesn't come because you're making bad contact instead of that sweet spot contact that you have to with the wood bat. There isn't the room for error like there is with the aluminum bat.
So that's really interesting. The pitching,
and that's solely an opinion on my part.
No, I mean,
I don't have any
opinion.
Yeah, I don't have any real evidence to back that up or anything like that. But I also see these kids when they go to those college leagues and they hit the ball like a little sissy. And and these are guys that in high school had just hit 8 home runs and 25 doubles up the gap and talking about going to be a D1 player, and they're a D1 player that can't even hit the ball out of the infield with a wood bat.
Wow. Well, yeah, and funny because the announcer during the game tonight was talking about that with Wyatt Langford, and it kind of tells you they haven't watched Wyatt Langford. Didn't watch his ascension to the big leagues. And they don't, and they, I mean, on a national he didn't have any problem with the wood bat in the minors. He just learned.
No, I knew whenever I saw him come up and take BP, and he was putting balls into the second deck, and just in BP, I knew that the translation wasn't going to be a thing. It was going to be more about figuring out how to hit major league pitching, not how to translate power.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, and I think we both, agree on that. Well, I'm just giving up on Baseball Reference. I'm probably
that's all right. Yeah, we got through the Dominican.
We got Sebastian Walcott ready to on deck here. No, we don't.
Actually, we don't. We've got Yolfran Castillo. Wolfran Castillo is number 5 from the red team. He's hitting 424 or something like that. They've been playing a month. Can't take him off. I mean, he's on my team. Man.
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now. At least MILB. The MILB app is.
Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, I know. You work with what you have.
Saved me. It's saving me right now. Now he's been. Yeah, when you're batting 400, you're doing something. But let's look at this June that this man has had. It's his whole
He also, he's got 6 stolen bases, which is a nice number for a kid that, just getting acclimated to professional baseball. The 1,000+ ops with no real home run power just yet. I mean, he's 16 or something like that. I mean, well, they got him at 17. So, yeah, he just turned 17 in February. So he's about halfway through his 17 or whatever. But his game logs, I mean, every night he's out there, 3 for 4, 3 for 4, 1 for 3, 2 for 3, 1 for 4. He had a 1 for 4. He had a 1 for 3 where he scored 4 runs.
Well, you gotta like the walks with this guy, man. He's got 8 walks already, so that's got his on base average.
He scored 27. He scored 27 runs in 66 at bats.
That's not bad.
It's over a third.
That's not bad. That's in a month. So
that's in a month of
that's like a run a day.
That is absolutely 1 run a day.
He didn't start till June 3rd, so he's literally at 1 run a day. You gotta love that. Well,
as we talk about other guys, Curly Martha, 301 batting average. He's got a couple of home runs, 9 stolen bases for Martha, and a 900+ ops now in his first 73 at bats. He also, he scored 15 runs in his 73 at bats. So they're getting them in over there or up there. And then with Paulino Santana, he's had a little bit of a rough start, but his ops is still almost at 750 with his rough start. So he's stealing bases when he gets on. I imagine things will come around. And next month, probably Paulino Santana will be on this list.
Well, and he's a guy that we've talked a little bit about thus far as well. So you gotta like that. The guys that we're hoping are going to be the guys are being the guys.
Who's a fun name on that Rangers red roster is Joaquin Arias Jr.
Now, do we know?
You remember Joaquin Arias?
I'm trying to.
He was a former Ranger, and he was traded to the Rangers in the Alex Rodriguez, Alfonso Soriano deal.
Yeah, I remember him now.
And he was the guy that the Rangers took over Robinson Cano when they were offered which player they wanted of those two. They chose Arias over Cano, and hindsight.
Not a great move. Well, I mean, in Washington's defense in 2020 or 2008, he did bat 291 with the Rangers, but
and he also played for Bruce Bochy, San Francisco Giants. Yeah, he was a Bochy guy, so maybe that says a little bit of why.
He had a decent
Spider Arias, I think that was his nickname, Spider Arias. That's why his son's getting an opportunity here.
Well, and again, so is that his kid?
That's his kid, yeah.
That doesn't surprise me because that name, of course, obviously, if you're a local, you remember the Arias name because he was the big piece. And of course, we also know that we lost out on somewhat of a Hall of Famer instead. But
stuff happens. One more guy before we get off of the red team here. Yohander Rubio, 1-0, 2.57 ERA in 14 innings. He's got 18 strikeouts. Has given up a few hits and walked a few too many guys, but at the Dominican Summer League, if you're sitting under 2.5 or sitting around 2.5, as you've done something there. So he's done a good job of working around a few too many base runners, but overall been really good for the red team.
The walks seem to be just a common theme once you start getting in the minor leagues for sure. I mean, it seems like everybody struggles.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I would tend to agree with you there.
But let's talk about somebody I can look up. Maybe an affiliate I can actually pull up on.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. We got number four, Sebastian Bam Bam Walcott.
Bam Bam. Is that a
Yeah,
thing?
that's an official nickname that is so unofficial. Um,
I like it.
I saw it though. I saw it from Michael Tepid. So if he's saying it, that's where Bar Fight White came from. So
Well,
let's
I'll
roll
take
with it.
Bam Bam all day long. Now here's the thing. So I tried this. I tried the MILB app, or not the. I tried Baseball Reference on both of my computers. I don't know if it's something wrong with the website or what, but I apologize to our listeners and audience. I always have all the numbers pulled up. That way, Bull doesn't have to pull them up while he's doing the thing, and I'm over here just scrambling trying to get some of these guys' numbers. I had them all pulled up. I had it all ready to go, and then
It's
right
wild, yeah. How
when we started
slow.
to go, it just so.
It's not just you, if it makes you feel any better, but
No, I
uh,
think it's something up with the site because every web I've gone on try to get on it with everything, and I'm getting
yeah,
I'm
I'm not
getting
having any trouble, or I'm not having any luck getting on Baseball Reference either. But
all
for
right.
the month of June, Sebastian Walcott had slash 286,
Mm.
337, 516.
Woo!
So you're starting to see that good contact. You're starting to see him make a little bit more of the contact. He's still getting on base at a high clip, even with the contact. He put is that right? Is that right? Oh my God! Oh,
What?
1, 2,
Well,
3. He had 3 home runs
yeah,
and
three
16
triples,
RBIs, which is
yeah,
good luck if you're a
three
pro
homers,
wrestler.
3 triples, 6 doubles. Man, I at least got the mill down.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, you'll take what is that? 12 extra base hits, 16 RBIs. He also had 7 walks,
Yeah, I was about to
which
bring that up.
man, that's what you're looking for. Had a couple of stolen bases for the month, I think 3, and like we said, slugged 516. So that's that
Yeah,
number you're looking for.
and let's look at his first couple of months of the season. April he was 191, 295, 338. And then May he was 198, 350, which shows he got a little bit better with his plate discipline. 296, the slug really wasn't there. And now we're starting to see, and this is a I mean, we're talking 100 at bats here. We're not talking about like a small sample size. We're talking 100 at bats at high A against high level professional pitching. The guy's starting to come around, and you can't tell me everybody in the
We're
organization
talking, yeah, and
is looking at this and going, yes.
that's his 100 at bats coming in with 140 at bats at the high A level prior to that. So you're starting to see the movement. He raised his slugging percentage by over 100 or almost 100 points this month. You saw the OPS before and after. It went from 600 to 750. So yeah, right now we're kind of starting to see the development of Sebastian Walcott and his game catching up to his game catching up to the league that he's in, and it was a lofty assignment to at 18 years old to get sent to high A and feast or famine, and it started famine, but he's learned to feast, and that's what good players do. That's what good athletes do. It's funny because now that the game's over, they got Caitlin Clark on the TV, and I
Oh,
haven't turned it off just yet.
oh
But
no,
that's
no,
a
I
girl
wouldn't
that
either.
at the
I wouldn't
level
either.
she's at right now, they're leaving her. It's feast or famine for him or for
Yeah,
her,
yeah.
and she's turning into a lion quick.
Oh man, like I couldn't help but I mean the news.
Let me turn that off because I don't want anybody thinking I watch women's basketball.
Well, you can't get away from you couldn't get away from her in the media, and so the interesting thing is that her team lost like every game her first month but one. They were like 1-9 like her first 9 games.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of that, but I saw that she got like in a fight or something. I thought, oh, I'll go check out how she's been doing. And man, like her second month, the team turned around and she's taking her lumps. But just like you said about Sebastian Walcott, this is where you find out what you're made of. And all in all, like if the league wanted us to watch this chick, they're doing a good job because you can't go anywhere on a sports app without seeing her face. So let's talk about these Down East Wood Ducks.
No, we're going to talk about Paul Bonzagni next. Bonzagni. He's a local kid, a Grapevine kid. So this kid has a couple of ties. He also played college baseball at Southern Illinois, where my dad went to college. So he's got a couple of ties. So this year so far in his 12 games, he's 3-1 with a 3.68 ERA over 44 innings. But this past week, these past couple of starts that he's had have been a little bit different. He gives up no hits, no runs in his last outing. He did put a couple of guys on base, but just no hits over 6 innings. His June 21st performance, 4 innings out of the bullpen, 1 inning or 1 hit, 1 walk, no runs, no earned. And then, prior to that, he had been kind of getting beat up in June, and he took a real turn around the middle of the month. And that gets Paul Bonzagni on the top 10 list, and it gets him at number 3 because of the no-hit performance that he had the other night for 6 innings for the Down East Wood Ducks, because he was really good. He had 6 strikeouts to go with that. It lowered everything. His whip went down a full 10th. Batting average went down 30 points against. So really, really nice outing, or really nice for him. 9 Ks over his last 2 games and 10 innings pitched, and he's dropped that ERA since June 13th from 4.76 to 3.68. So good looking out for the young kid from right around here. And now the Rangers have got a couple of kids between Josh Stephen and Paul Bonzagni that are local products that we're pulling for.
Man, a lot of other good pitching performances going on at low A. Now, I know we're going to talk about another guy that moved from low A to high A in a second, but Magdaleno continues to keep striking people out. William Bormy keeps striking people out. Davalillo doesn't strike people out, but he don't walk anybody either. He don't put anybody on base.
He doesn't. He doesn't give up a ton of hits. He had a really nice outing Friday night. He was gold Friday night.
He's a lefty, right?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
He's a righty.
And then,
Jose Anako is the lefty that we talked about.
Okay. Well, then Jose Gonzalez has been,
really tremendous. That whole, if you look at the Down East, their whole everything, the pitching staff, it's been good. Whoever they've put in those spots to pitch, they've just showed up and pitched for Down East, and it's nice to see that the pitching catches up by the time you get to Down East.
Yeah, and before we hop out of there, don't forget Echedri Vargas, Gladiator Figueroa, Baker Barroso, all doing pretty good at the low A level. Figueroa, I think, because of the expectations, is you like to see.
And he was a guy that could have totally been on the list this week. He's probably going to get that call here in the next couple of days to move. They're probably getting pretty close with him, but he's had, the power has shown up.
Yeah, it has. No, it really has. Well, let's jump up to number 2, and a guy who's right there with Toyota this year, who is just kind of taking the farm by storm. Kind of in the same draft class as Skylar Hales, if I'm not correct.
Yep. The next pick, the 5th round pick.
Yep, fireballer. Just has been on this list, it seems like, every single week. Alejandro Rosario, and
when you're
a hot hand.
When you've thrown 11 games, you've thrown 51 innings, and you have 75 strikeouts with a sub-1 whip and a 2.12 ERA, you're going to make lists.
Yeah.
Especially when it's about minor leaguers that are doing well.
Man.
He would not be on a list right now if we were doing a show about minor leaguers that were S-ing the bed.
Yeah.
Right now. No, so far for him this year, it's been Man, everything you hoped, when you saw this guy as a guy that was going to come out and give you, um, something from your draft picks, especially when you lose a second and third rounder. You're really, really hoping that you get something really nice in that fourth and fifth and sixth round. And I think so far the Rangers between Skylar Hales, Alejandro Rosario, and now Isaac Taylor Tiger getting back from his injury. You're seeing 3 of those draft picks take off, and now you're going to get a chance to see Caden Scarborough in the next couple of weeks, and you're really starting to see this 2024 draft or 2023 draft is hopefully one that's going to take off. But I think one thing that I really like about Rosario is he's not a big dude, but he throws like he's a big dude. He's only 6'1", 182, something like that, but he throws 101, 102 miles an hour. He's normally sitting 95 to 98, somewhere around there. But he's a big right or a small right-hander, but he's got a big arm and he throws the ball hard. And those 75 strikeouts in 50 innings may end up leading him to the bullpen, but they're going to give him every chance to start so far because he's been, pretty good in every effort that he's had this year. Even getting that move up, I mean, he was decent. He was decent for Hickory the other night, but he was so good the last month with Down East. It was hard to not put him number 2 on this list.
Speaking of Hickory, speaking of prospects, this is down on the farm. Just real quick, Brock Porter made his first appearance since April 23rd at the Arizona Complex League. Yep, and he went a couple of innings, gave up a few hits, gave up a couple of earned runs, walked a batter, struck out 3 though. I think we'll just probably keep an eye on that because
definitely we want to.
Kumar Rocker is coming back. You want to see what's going on with Brock Porter. Those guys will always be.
Apparently, Rocker should make a start at the Arizona Complex League this coming week.
Yep. So we'll keep you up to date on that for sure because last year I felt like every week we were talking about those guys, especially Porter. And then Porter has kind of had a little bit of a setback this year for whatever reason. And, like I said, we'll keep an eye on him because he's been out for a couple months now. And so hopefully, health isn't too much of an issue. And maybe he's kind of getting back on the wagon here. Let's not also forget to mention Yazan Morabel. Kind of didn't have a great week, but still a guy we're keeping an eye on. The
hitting wasn't great at Hickory this week. Wasn't bad though either.
Has kind of taken a step backwards a little bit as well. But who hasn't taken a step back is Jesus Moreno.
Yeah. I mean, he's starting to hit a little bit.
So he's moved up, right? He moved up to. Am I talking about the right guy here?
I'm pretty sure he's been with Hickory most of the year.
Who's the catcher that we're supposed to talk about?
Jesus Lopez.
Jesus Lopez.
He's Down East. You're on the wrong roster. Yeah.
Wrong roster. Okay, Jesus Lopez. Now he's had his struggles. It looks like. Recently, so
he has. I mean, it's it's a long season.
Oh, and he's a young guy. He's 18 years old, isn't
he? Yeah, 17 or 18 years old. Yeah.
Well, let's get to the
number one.
I'm gonna let you take it, man. There's a reason you put this guy at number 1.
Cole Drake has just been. I don't know what else you could say about him, but he's just been tremendous this month. You don't think of a guy that was at a 2.75 ERA or a 1.80 ERA for the month. He threw 4 innings on June 6th, 3 hits, 1 run. He threw 5 innings on June 13th, 6 hits, no runs. He threw 6 innings of 2-hit ball on June 20th, and then on June 26th, after getting bumped to Hickory, he goes out and throws 5 innings, gives up 2 hits, gives up 1 run on a home run. He gave up 2 home runs for the month, but his strikeouts, he had 36 strikeouts No, I'm sorry, 31 strikeouts for the month in 4 appearances over. It's hard because these are split up on these stats because you know
Here,
how
I'll give it
great.
to you. I'll give it to you.
He's got 16. He's 20 innings,
Yep.
31 strikeouts in 20 innings.
Yep.
His
Yeah,
whip
yeah.
for the month of June
Well, in
was
that 13th and the June 13th and the 20th appearance, he struck out 10 guys. 10 guys
apiece. Yeah, 10 apiece.
20 of those Ks came in 2 games. So
Yeah. 20 of the 31. He had a really good month for the organization. This is a community college guy that the Rangers got in the 11th round a couple of years ago. And so far, he's been pretty good for him.
Yeah, you love it. You love it. And I mean, I love the when we pull these guys that we don't talk about a lot. And then, you know, they have good months and it helps bring them to light for us because there's just a lot going on with this Rangers minor league. And we know that there's a few names at the top that get a lot of the attention for rightfully so. I mean, obviously, you know, right now, all year we've talked about Teodo and Santos because of, you know,
how good they've been. Yeah, but this is about letting people know that there's guys like Ryan Lobus and Alejandro Rosario and Skylar Hales and those guys in this organization that are really turning corners this year and someone to watch for the future.
Love it. Love it. Well, I got nothing I got nothing else if you got nothing else.
No. Draft is coming up. I had a couple of guys that we were gonna talk about, but I don't have that with me. One of them was Ryan Johnson from DBU, and the other was a shortstop from Florida. So.
Okay, well, all those Florida guys are built like Wyatt Langford.
Yeah, I think those kids from down there south too.
I mean, yeah, like the whole team looked like they were 220 at the College World Series or the whatever it was leading up to the college. I don't remember which one it was I watched, but I
Florida
watched
team, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, well, hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to check us out on social media, TX Rangers WTB. Don't forget to check out that website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
All one word.
Also, all one word at Chilltown Hoops here on YouTube. Again, thanks to all of our subscribers who are our farm hands here down on the farm for, you know, loving these Rangers and loving baseball as much as we do, enough to get knee deep in these prospects. And thanks again for making us your one-stop shop for all things Rangers organization-wide. For the 300-pound manimal, this is your boy Kev. We are Texas Rangers with the Boys, bringing you Down on the Farm with the Boys, and we're signing out.